It's not the mayor, it's Jimmy Hoffa.
I'm sorry the Mayor Daley could not be here. He's still in purgatory. He sends his best. Well, there is something I would like to say. Live from New York, it's Saturday night.
Hello and welcome to the Not Ready for Primetime Project. We're Gary Seath and Brad Robinson.
And you're not.
This week on the early years of SNL, we're talking about Season 4, Episode 15, with host Margot Kidder and musical guest, the Chieftans. This show originally aired on, here it is, March 17th, 1979. Brad, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Top of the morning to you.
Aaron Gobra.
Or that,
Whatever. This show was St. Patrick's Day, and they did not let you forget it.
No, not at all.
It was fun, though. I'll be honest. I think this episode is a lot of fun.
It's a fun episode. I agree.
Yeah.
It's funny. I finished watching this episode, and I wanted to ask you, are you starting to come around on Season 4 at all?
It's interesting because I think yes, but. There's a big but. And I actually...
Hard-hitting questions to start things
That's
off.
right.
Let's go.
Well, here it is. Here's a hard-hitting answer, Brad. I'm into Season 4, except for Belushi.
Mm-hmm.
I am fucking over Belushi.
Wait, what did he do this episode? He's fine this episode. He's actually very good this episode.
You know what made me angry this episode about Belushi?
What?
Is that he has this attitude throughout this season that we've seen. And it is clear.
Oh, we're going to talk about it. Okay,
and
attitudes? Okay.
It's clear. Yeah, we're not going to talk about your attitude. Don't worry. But it's clear that he is not actually the star of the show. I mean, I think he thinks he's the star. He's not the most important person on this show.
Okay.
Far and away, Dan Aykroyd is far more important to this show than John Belushi.
And that's why you don't like him?
Yeah, because he's got this attitude that he is the most important person.
Oh, I see. It's stars, Gary. We have these attitudes about us. We know how important we are to the success.
This is an amazing comparison. Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So I understand where he's coming from. Moving on, that we cut all this out. Moving on.
Don't say that. Why would you say that? Like, this is actually fun and entertaining. This is why you want to cut this out. Oh, you're such a wet noodle.
What?
Not cutting any of this out. Margot Kidder. Huge.
She's Canadian. Do you know that?
She is Canadian. Yes, I did.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I actually, in researching Margot Kidder, I did not realize how far back her career went. Like, I didn't realize she started so
I didn't
young.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd been acting for like 10, 12 years at this point.
Yeah, at least.
I mean, probably because a lot of it was in Canada, and that's why you don't know about it.
Correct. That is true. I didn't realize the breadth of Margot Kidder as an actress, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think she shows it here, too. I think she does a nice job in this episode when she's incorporated.
Yeah, I agree. She's somebody who's always not confused me, but I feel like the reputation of Margot Kidder over time has kind of overshadowed who she was.
Yes.
I feel like when anybody mentions Margot Kidder, all you think about is like, oh, like drug problems and all these issues and nervous breakdowns and that kind of a thing, which like completely overshadows her.
1000%. Yes.
People who weren't around not around for her at this time, or at least not, knowing what's going on.
Right.
So it's interesting to see it. So I agree with what you're saying, because all I really knew of Margot Kidder coming in is Superman movies, of course, Lois Lane.
Of course.
And then the tales you hear of Margot Kidder, and that was really about it.
Yeah. And it's really a shame because she actually, she was a very good actress. Right. And I think that all in later years has totally been overshadowed by the off-screen problems that she had and mental health problems that she had.
But at this point in time, it's a very big time for her.
Yeah.
We talked about it a couple episodes ago. Superman came out in the winter. So she's riding high off this huge movie. It was the most successful movie in the history of Warner Brothers at the time when it came out. It set a record for biggest week and biggest 2 weeks ever. It was one of the highest grossing films of all time. Like huge movie.
And it's a great movie.
And then in the fall, and it's a great movie, yeah. And then also during that time in the fall, she had shot her next movie, which is going to be the Amityville Horror.
Right.
But she's right in the middle of like two of her biggest projects ever right now.
Yeah, it was a good time for Margot Kidder.
It is kind of a shame she never made it past Lois Lane. Like, other than playing Lois Lane in 3 more Superman movies.
Right. Another big breakout role.
Yeah.
That's a shame. She moved to Montana. That was something that she actually contributed to her lack of success in Hollywood. Was she moved to Montana? She got married and moved to Montana for her husband.
I see.
Yeah.
But she, like you said, when she's incorporated tonight, she's really good.
I agree. She was a lot of fun, and it seemed like she was game for anything.
She's got a little Gary Busey in her, I feel like.
Well, we see that later.
Yeah. I mean, I felt it before then, but definitely what you're talking about. But I was like, she got a little Busey still hangover on this show this week.
That's a really interesting comparison that let's not go into anymore, because we could totally go off the rails there.
Yeah.
But it was a really fun episode. Like I said, they just dive right into the St. Patrick's Day of it all, which I was not really expecting, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because we've seen St. Patrick's Day before, that Broderick Crawford piece that they shot on St. Patrick's Day that year for the Gary Weiss film. That's really great. And well, when we get into the cold open, but they kind of like revisit this cold open idea. We saw that before too. Yeah. Last season. So they've touched on it a little bit, but you're right. This episode is full on just St. Patrick's Day.
And the other thing, before we get into it, real quick, this show, I don't think I appreciated how many clips were pulled from this episode for highlights going forward.
Yep. At least 4 or 5 that you'd see on the highlight clips, at least. Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep, totally.
Well, should we just get into it?
Let's do it.
All right. So this week's show is preempting Little Women and Big Basketball Players was the card this week.
Did you like that one?
No. I just made a note.
Oh, okay. Because my first note was Andy Murphy.
Yeah. So we're back at the bar in Chicago, where last year we saw the ghost of Mayor Daley show up, as you mentioned. And this time, Bill is broadcasting his radio show as Dick Landry.
Yeah, he's back. That was great.
He's broadcasting from the bar. They're doing a bunch of call-in questions. Dan's the bartender, and Jane calls in as the mayor-elect at the time, who was someone that would play a role in the Blues Brothers movie, right?
Yeah, Jane Byrne. Yeah, totally. Yep.
And they are all awaiting the reemergence of the ghost of Mayor John Daley. But unfortunately, he does not show up.
Because they say he came back last year. So they're kind of acknowledging the sketch they did last time, too. Oh, he came back last year and he's here.
And this time, John shows up as Jimmy Hoffa, basically just to say live from New York.
Yes. No, exactly. I think he even says, right, I'm just here to say one thing.
Yep.
And he gives it. So
did you like this cold open, Brad?
It was okay. Another Brian Dole Murray piece, written in Chicago, set in Chicago. Bill was good, not as good as he was the first time, I think.
Agreed. Yep.
So, it felt a little by the numbers. We've seen this. We've kind of seen this sketch again, even complete with puff of green smoke at the doors and the ghost walking in. So we've kind of seen it all before. And I didn't love the live from New York because, it's blatantly a way for John to do it. That's all it was for Jimmy Hoffa come in, say one line. So I think this is now we're 5 in a row now of John doing live from New York.
5 or 6, yeah.
But it was quick enough, so I didn't hate it. Like, it came in, it acknowledges St. Patrick's Day, which was fun. And so it kind of, I feel if anything, it sets the tone fairly well for what the episode's going to be like.
I think so.
Not bad.
Then when it comes time for the monologue, we see a huge clover leaf painted on the stage. And Margot Kidder comes out all in green. Again, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, they're going to continue this whole monologue. They're going to lean into it. Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Very well, I would say, too.
I think so. So the camera starts to pan down and fall down to her. Basically, it's just her knees and below. And Gilda comes in to tell her that that's where the show is because most of the crew is Irish. So they've been celebrating all day. So they're going to go to the control room to ask Davey Wilson what's up. And they go to the control room and it is just chaos in there. It's a party. Davey Wilson is shit-faced.
It's always a good time when they go to the control room. Love it. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I was very excited to see this. After they pass Downey on the way in, Downey starts asking her questions in the audience.
Gilda does she shoves Downey back.
She does.
Yeah,
it was a great hit. Funny. Like, the audience doesn't talk to her. Yeah. Sit down. It's great.
And Margot says, well, she goes to this chaotic control room and she's like, we got to ask Lorne. We got to find Lorne. And of course, he's being interviewed again by Schiller.
As soon as they said, oh, he's doing an interview, I'm like, please be Schiller. Please be Schiller. And sure enough, it's the same exact setup. He's sitting there. Schiller's got a recorder. Lawrence talking about going into politics.
No, he's comparing being a TV producer to being a senator. He's not talking about going into politics.
No, he is, because he starts it off with being, I think politics might be next. That's how it led in. His very first line was saying maybe politics could be next or something of that nature. But yeah, then he compares the producer to being a senator. Al Franken's in the back like, oh, interesting.
Note to self.
Note to self, run for Senate.
And then they finally coax Davy Wilson awake. They throw some water on his face.
So good. How great is Davy Wilson in this bit? He's like, live from New York. They're like, no, we've done that already. Like, he plays a belligerent drunk really well.
Yes. I thought this was one of the most fun monologues because of that, because of all the backstage
It
stuff.
was fun.
The control room being total chaos, just a party. It was great.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a bit haphazard by design, but it was fun. Like, even though that's the design, it still just felt like Margot didn't know what was really going on half the time and was just like kind of confused by everything, which just played well to the whole idea. It's Brian Doyle Murray and McConaughey come out as like the medic guys trying to revive Davey. So they get a lot of fun people involved, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it's always good when they stop in the control room.
Right.
9 out of 10 times, those are great bits.
They really are. So that was a lot of fun. And then Davey says, all right, roll the tape deck.
Yeah.
And we don't even go back to Margot Kidder. Now they roll right into a commercial for the Navy.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised. I didn't know what was going on at first. And then I realized like, oh, this is a commercial. Got it. And it's showing the mundane parts of Navy life, like peeling potatoes, cleaning the deck, stuff like that. But it's supposed to be a commercial for, why you want to join the Navy.
Well, the Navy, it's not just a job. It's $96.75 a week.
That's right.
That's your tag at the end. That's your joke at the end. After all those menial tasks.
Yeah.
Playing on, of course, it's not just a job. It's an adventure. There you go. Super quick.
It was very quick.
Super quick.
I honestly expected them to maybe go back to Margot at that point, but they didn't.
Because it was so quick?
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Because there's not much there. It was like, it's like found footage, right? It's not like they shot any of that.
I don't think so.
I didn't love this, but again, it was so quick that you're like, okay, whatever, like moving on.
Exactly. Like this wasn't a showpiece by any stretch.
No,
it was totally to get you from the monologue to the first sketch, which is an all-timer for me.
Mm-hmm.
Fred Garvin, male prostitute. I love this sketch. I love this character.
It's a great sketch.
This is a sketch that Rosie talked to us about.
Yeah.
That Dan would do this character for her on the bed when they were dating. It's great. I mean, it's so funny. So Margot Kidder's on a business trip, and I don't know who hasn't seen this.
Hello?
Mrs. Potter?
Yes, that's me.
The same Mrs. Potter who's vice president in charge of loans for the Franklin National Bank of Chicago?
Yeah, that's me.
Hey, this is for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
May I come in?
What for?
Well, you see, ma'am, when a VIP like yourself comes to Moline to do business, it's customary for the company to send a gal up to the room. Compliments of Great Lakes Feed and Grain. And, well, since you're a gal, the company sent me, Fred Garvin, male prostitute.
I don't think you understand, Fred. I'm not that kind of girl.
Let me reassure you, ma'am. I can assure you professional hygiene, discretion, and animal gratification.
I have never had to pay for that in my whole life.
Well, don't worry about it. Great Lakes Feed and Grain is picking up the tab. You've got me for the whole night. Hay is for horses, young lady. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. You're spending the night with Fred Garvin, male prostitute.
I do love how every time he explains to her who he is, Fred Garvin, male prostitute, he stops and breaks the fourth wall, snaps to camera, and the title card comes up. It happens like 3 or 4 times in the sketch, and it's like so funny that every time he has to say his name, he does that.
It's the best. I like that he keeps referring to her as young lady, just like...
Yes, he calls her young lady
the age difference. It's great. I love this character. I love Garrett comes in as his pimp. And Garrett gets a big reaction.
Yeah, as he should.
Slick. He's Slick is his name.
Is he wearing Dick Cavett's hat?
Maybe Dick Cavett was wearing Garrett Morris's hat. Yeah.
That's actually more likely, yeah.
This was so much fun. It's a great sketch. It's an all-timer. Like I said, you see it on clip reels for years and years. I loved it. So much fun to see in this fun episode.
You see it on clip reels, but all you really see is the one part where he's like, no, ma'am, you're spending the night. But there's so much great other things in this sketch.
So much more.
Where she finally comes around and she decides she's going to do it. And she looks at him and she has like a voiceover. And he goes, well, he's not the most attractive guy in the world. And they cut to Dan like brushing his hair, like trying to look good. And then he gets on the bed. He's like, now a few seductive poses.
Oh, those were great.
And it's just so silly and absurd. And like Dan does one, he's like, he has this like shit-eating grin on his face half the time. It's just so funny. It's so silly and stupid.
Oh, it's amazing.
They get into bed. He goes, if you don't mind, I do work with the glasses and jacket.
Yeah.
Gets in, takes his pants off. Just his pants.
Oh. There wasn't a lot for Margot Kidder to do, but I think what she did was good.
There's enough. She played it well. I like her. And again, Garrett, it's a good instance of Garrett getting some meat in a sketch and delivering.
Yes.
Delivering well, I think, which was really fun.
And I was surprised at the reaction he got. I was really happy that he got a reaction because you don't see that a lot.
You know, in a season where it feels like we keep seeing the same things over and over and over again, whether it's a sketch or a character, this was fun to see a fresh new character. You know, we haven't seen this before in any iteration, and it played really well. And I think that really helped, just that freshness of not being another character. I mean, we're only like 2 episodes removed from Kate Jackson, where every single bit of the night, including one of the musical songs, was recurring.
Right.
So to see something this new and fresh, that's what I like the most about this sketch, is just that feeling of something different.
Yeah. Well, don't get too used to it, but we'll get there later. Next, we're going to go to the Chieftans, the Irish. What are they like? Irish folk music? Is that what they call this?
Yeah.
They come on and play their song, If I Had Maggie in the Woods. They're really good. It's a lot of fun. I don't know anything about the Chieftans, but I enjoy their music.
Yeah, I guess these guys are... Did you?
I did enjoy this. Yeah.
I don't know.
Musically, I liked it. It's fun.
I guess these are the guys kind of widely known, from what I could find, of bringing the Irish folk music into the mainstream.
Right.
They were in the Barry Lyndon soundtrack, and that's what kind of like pushed them into, I guess. So, but they apparently have won like 5-6 Grammys, I think, and an Emmy Award for something. And they've been around and continue to perform like well beyond 1979. And I mean, I get why they're on, like they're really leaning into the St. Paddy's Day of it all.
Totally.
And I guess there's not that many Irish pop/rock stars at this point, so that's where you go.
Guess not. Yeah.
It's a nice set they gave them.
Right?
It's like they're in Ireland, I assume.
I guess so, yeah.
They got a well, a bunch of rocks. There's smoke at one point, or dry ice, I guess, to like be like the fog or whatever you call it. Yeah.
You see that a lot more in the second number too. I think it's a lot. But it's fun. Whatever. If you're gonna lean into the Irishness of the day, sure, enjoy that band.
Yeah, no, if you're gonna do it, at the end I was like, I'm just amazed they put this on. It feels very kind of season 1.
Yeah,
we're struggling to find somebody.
Yeah,
for season 4 kind of a thing, I would have thought, but maybe there's just not that many popular Irish performers at the time.
I was also surprised how early in the night it was.
Yeah,
I mean, we've only had one sketch, and then we're going to the musical guest.
We get that, from time to time.
Yeah. But
don't knock.
I'm just saying, you would expect
we had the Navy commercial.
You would expect that with a bigger name musical group.
Oh, maybe.
Than the Chieftans.
I'm actually surprised they got 2 numbers. That surprised me more, I think, than them being on, is that they gave them 2 numbers. But with a set like that, you kind of have to, I guess. You put all that time and energy into that set, you got to show it more than once.
Unless they bring that with them. That's part of their charm.
That'd be hilarious. You guys are talking about transforming the stage into a performance piece. We did it back in 1979. We're the Chieftans, damn it.
We do that all the time. We take the fake grass with us.
It's in our rider.
No green M&Ms, and we're bringing our own backdrop. We do get a retread next. We go to St. Mickey's Knights of Columbus again. Another Brian Doyle Murray piece.
Yep.
So this is, we're picking up another St. Mickey's meeting. They talk about the car raffle, which was mentioned last time.
Right.
It was won by some guy from Wyoming that no one knows. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. St. Patty's Day parade and boxing match. I love that Lorraine is back as Sister Serena, and she's the boxing coach this time. So basketball coach, now she's the boxing coach.
With the same notes as to why they lost boxing.
Still bitching about the refs. It was great. It was so good.
She's really good. We've
got some bigger boys coming up. Hopefully we'll be better. It's like this. It's same routine, but I loved it. She was great.
Yeah. Garrett is the one that actually won the boxing tournament, and he comes on. That was fun. It's fun to incorporate Garrett here.
Jocko gets the sportsmanship award again. Bill Murray.
And Margot Kidder comes on as a special guest from Belfast. Mary.
So before that, though, so up to this point, because we're saying it's hitting all the same beats, did something feel missing to you? Like something just felt off to this sketch, to me, at that point. Like the energy just isn't there.
I feel like that a lot with these sketches that we get the same
you've seen
beats
it already.
over and over, right? It's not like you know what to expect. And so
Dan tries to give a bad joke about John at the beginning again. It's like, it's all the same. Yeah. I don't know. It was the note I had right before Margot Kidder came on. It was like, okay, just something about it does not seem to be clicking as well as it has in the previous ones.
I think it's just because it's a retread in many ways. It's just maybe. Instead of Garrett being the special guest, this time it's Margot Kidder comes over from Belfast, and she talks about ending the war and not fighting, and brings the entire mood of the dinner down.
I agree. Yes. And the sketch as a whole.
Well, but that's the point of that is let's reckon with what's actually going on in a real way and not just get drunk because it's St. Patrick's Day. But
because she does go on long.
I didn't think it was that long.
I did.
I also really enjoyed her Irish accent. I thought she did a good job.
Great accent.
Yeah.
Great accent. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Didn't waver. Not like a Bill Murray where it comes and goes.
Nope.
No. Excellent accent.
It was very good.
And then your favorite part of the sketch, they bring the ladies out again at the end. Thanks for the spaghetti dinner.
No, my favorite part of the sketch is when they all sing and Garrett again is the only one who knows all the words.
It was funny because I was like, oh, okay, are they going to mess up singing a song again? And luckily they only did one song.
Right.
But yeah, Garrett takes the role. And I actually did like that.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're saying. That Garrett knows it and he sings it well. And it played really well.
Yeah.
Him doing it.
Yeah. And in that moment, it was fun to watch them all, like all their characters feign surprise. And then they really get into it when he continues to sing. Because when he comes on as the winner of the boxer, he kind of like talks about how shitty their boxers were.
Right.
In a way. So they didn't like what he was saying. And now he redeems himself in their eyes because he can sing their Irish tune.
Yeah. I thought they did a good job, like saving the piece at the end. Not saving, but like bringing the piece to a decent close with that Garrett thing. It was a good save.
I agree. Then we go to Weekend Update. No sponsor this week. There was no funny sponsor for Weekend Update this week.
No, they had the, what do you call it? Like the lead-in line with Jane, like next on Weekend Update. But they didn't have a promo. You're right. Or sponsor.
That was a bummer. Yeah. I've been enjoying those recently.
Maybe that's why the first joke didn't go over that well. Because I thought it was a funny joke. They make a joke at NBC scheduling.
Right.
I thought it was a fun joke, and the audience didn't really dig it.
No, they didn't. No? Well, it started on Carter, and then it went to him. Yeah, it was kind of a long joke to get to the
to get to that, because it's like Carter brokering the piece and whatever, and he's going to come here and fix the schedule on NBC.
Yeah. I loved, as a callback to last week or 2 weeks ago, Jane gives Bill his watch back and says the Chieftans found it. You didn't like this last time with Bill and
I didn't like it this time either. I don't know why.
I thought it was funny.
I don't know.
That's it. That's all you got. I don't know.
I don't know. It's like kind of forced. Jane's like finishes a news item, then like pulls the watch out. It just didn't flow very well. To just yeah. I liked it better. I'll say I liked it better than Bill, giving stuff to her.
I liked that the Chieftans were the ones that found it.
All the Chieftans?
Yeah.
All 6 of those dudes?
All 6 of those older dudes.
Could you tell that Bill was wearing the Superman outfit underneath the suit? Could you see it through the... Did you notice that?
I noticed he looked puffy
Well, you could see like at the one of his arms, he's got like the blue sleeves at the bottom.
Oh,
and if
really?
you looked at the shirt close enough, you could see the blue and like Superman emblem underneath of it.
I didn't notice that. No.
Yeah.
There's some other jokes about rhesus monkeys, whatever. And then we get Father Guido Sarducci.
Wait a minute. What are those monkeys again? I think I made the same mistake when I watched this as I did the first time.
Yeah.
When I thought they were racist monkeys. I totally thought they were racist monkeys again.
Really?
I swear. Yeah, I did. I was like, racist monkeys.
Oh, that's funny because I was like, oh, surely he won't get confused this time because they even put a graphic up that said rhesus monkeys.
No, surely he did get confused again.
Oh, that makes it even funnier to me.
Doesn't take much.
I think that's our next t-shirt is, oh, rhesus monkeys. Got it. And Guido Sarducci comes on to talk about St. Patrick leading the snakes out of Ireland, mentions that the patron saint of Italy, St. Joseph, was a great saint, not a mediocre saint. And
he doesn't get the same recognition of this good, mediocre saint. It's like having your birthday 2 days after Christmas.
yeah, because his day is March 19th.
The 19th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where he gets a classic Father Guido Sarducci line.
And it's amazing. You see, to be made a saint in the Catholic Church, you have to have 4 miracles. That's the rules, you know. It's always been like that, 4 miracles to prove it. Well, this Mother Satan, they could only prove 3 miracles, but the Pope, he just waived the 4th one. He just waived it. And do you know why? It's because she was American. It's all politics. We got some Italian people, they got 40, 50, 60 miracles to their name. They can't get in just because they say there's already too many Italian saints. And this woman comes along with 3 lousy miracles. I understand that 2 of them was card tricks.
This is my favorite Father Sarducci bit. It's some of these Italian saints have 30, 40 miracles. They just waved the 4th.
It's a classic.
His verbiage is great because the exact line is, I understand 2 of them was card tricks.
Yeah.
So just the way they pick the words are just so good. The whole thing about the saints, Italian saints versus, it's all politics and American saints. It's hands down my favorite Father Guido Sarducci bit.
It's so funny.
It's great.
And he's so good in that one. We come back. Bill sings happy birthday to Albert Einstein, to an Albert Einstein statue.
He's done this before, right?
Uh-huh.
The birthday, I think it was Beethoven, like earlier this season.
Was it
Yeah,
Beethoven?
he does like a birthday, same thing, birthday song.
Yep.
Silly and fun.
Quick to the point, couple more jokes. And then Dan's back for point counterpoint.
No intro again. They just cut.
No, he's just
they just
there.
cut. Hello, I'm Dan Aykroyd.
Anything. And this is another classic point counterpoint.
I would say this is the best known point counterpoint. This is the one that always made the highlights.
Dan, times change, and so does the nature of relationships. People are reluctant to get married these days, and looking at divorce statistics, who can blame them? But the lack of a piece of paper does not necessarily mean the lack of a total commitment. A woman in this modern-day relationship may well give up all her own personal pursuits, as Michelle Marvin claims she did, to give her full support to her man's career. And Michelle Marvin is just asking that the courts recognize that reality. Dan, there's an old saying. Behind every successful man, there's a woman, a loving, giving, caring woman. But you wouldn't know about that, Dan, because there's no old saying about what's behind a miserable failure.
Jane, you ignorant slut. Bagged up, dried up, slunk meat like you and Michelle Triola know the rules. If you want a contract, sign on the dotted line. Oh, but let's all shed a tear for poor Michelle Triola. There was only testimony that she had sexual intercourse over 40 times with another man while living with actor Lee Marvin. But I suppose that sort of fashionable promiscuity means nothing to someone like you, Jane, who hops from bed to bed with the frequency of a cheap ham radio. But hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and Michelle Triola, like a screeching, squealing, rapacious swamp sow, is after actor Lee Marvin's last $3 million. I guess what you and Michelle are saying is that when you're on your backs, the meter is running. Well, please spare us, gals, and tell us the rates at the top. Then we can choose which 2-bit tarts and bargain basement sluts to shack up with.
Yeah. I think this entire piece, both sides of it are great.
Yeah, I mean, it's that classic dig on Jane where they talks about, they always talk about the woman behind the man, but you wouldn't know about that, Dan, because there's nothing to be said about what's behind a miserable failure.
Yep.
And then Dan just comes in swinging like boom, boom, boom. It's such a great back and forth.
Yeah, it really is. So much fun. Classic, something that we see forever.
Oh, yeah.
Again, this episode is stacked.
It is. It is.
And it just keeps going with the next sketch.
Yeah.
So it's a superhero St. Patrick's Day party.
My first note, another classic.
It is. Everybody's in this.
Yeah.
Margot Kidder reprises her Lois Lane character.
Mm-hmm.
Bill is Superman. Dan's the Flash. Belushi's the Incredible Hulk.
Hey, where's that invincible husband of yours anyway, huh? Superman, how's it going? Let go. Hey, Flash. What are you two jokers doing around here?
I think Jane and Gilda are the only ones that get kind of short shrift. And Lorraine. They're just girlfriends of the superheroes.
They're just girlfriends or wives of the superheroes.
Yes. It's so much fun. There's the classic Ant-Man bit with Dan and Garrett.
Garrett as Ant-Man.
Excuse me. I'm not sure if I remember your name. I'm really bad with names, you know.
You don't remember me? We met several times. It's Ant-Man. Antman.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Ant-Man.
Yeah.
What are your superpowers again? You talk to the ants, is that it?
Well, partly, but mainly I shrink myself down to the size of an ant while retaining my full human strength.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really impressive. Size of an ant with human strength. You must be able to clean house on those other ants. Hey, Hulk, check this guy out.
Ooh.
Got the strength of a human.
Ant-Man, huh? Where are your ants?
Guess.
They're at home, in the ant farm. Oh, best stay out of this guy's way.
Oh, every molecule's quivering now.
I don't see what's so funny. Is there something wrong with being Ant-Man? I mean, what's the joke? I don't see what's so funny. Oh, great.
Hilarious. Again, Garrett is on fire tonight.
He's having a great episode.
Garrett is.
I think this may be his best episode.
It might
overall.
be. It might be. He's an easy 3 for 3.
Yeah.
He's funny at the beginning when he gets introduced to the sketch and they start making fun of him. I love him at the end when he's outside the bathroom and Hulk comes out and it smells so bad. He's like, no one can breathe. And he's in a bubbled head covering and he's still like can't breathe and like trying to. Oh, he's so good. He's so good in this sketch.
Yeah, he really is. It's so much fun. And it's fun to just see all these people dressed up as superheroes. Even some crazy like Spider-Woman, Spider-Man,
the
Fantastic
Thing.
Four. Yeah.
This is the one I thought John was really great as the Hulk. I thought he played it really well. He was fun in all the interactions he had, and I thought it worked really well. I like that handshake bit when he's like, "Oh, Superman, let go." Like he played it just right. And then when he comes over to make fun of Ant-Man is really good. This is another sketch. Like, I think the 2 clips we always see is the handshake bit with Superman and then the bathroom sketch when he comes out of the bathroom. And one when he walks in and he walks in on the invisible girl.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many little things that, and then when he walks out and it smells. But there's little stuff like when the Flash first shows up and he's at the door and like Gilda like runs up behind him to like just little things like that. And Jane walks in and the banter she has with Lois Lane is like really fun and subtle.
Yeah.
You just got to watch for it. And just little bits and pieces here and there that really make this a great overall sketch.
Even Dan's comments when they're like, "Would you like some punch?" He's like, "I just had some."
Yeah.
While you were talking, I went over and got some.
Would you like another one? I just had some again.
Yeah. And then we find out that Lois Lane used to date the Hulk and it totally sends Clark Kent / Superman into he's been spiraling and kicks everybody out.
Because it's a long time till they get to that point of asking about where's Clark Kent. And then he finally shows up. I got to say, Bill does a great quick change.
Yes.
He jumps out the window as Superman and
That's
moments later
the Superman suit underneath. Yeah.
I didn't notice it then actually, but he comes back and throws the suit on and walks through the front door again. I thought it was really good.
I thought it was just fun seeing everyone dressed up in these costumes.
Yeah. Too. Oh, totally. Especially try to imagine back then, as I was saying, where you don't see that. Maybe you see a Superman, maybe you see a Batman, but you see all these different comic book characters.
That was a lot of fun.
So good.
And from there, we go to the Franken and Davis Show. They have their show logo now has a hammer and sickle.
Yes, that's true.
My favorite part of the entire Franken and Davis Show was when Al Franken brings up a box of Frankenberry cereal and talks about how they've stolen his name and likeness. And he shows a picture of the Frankenberry monster on the back. And he shows how it looks so much like him, resembles him.
It's my nose, my mouth. Actually, he does a good job of looking like it. It's like my nose, my mouth, my glasses. And then he covers the face. Like they use my rear end as the top of the head.
Yes.
They stole my likeness. So I'm suing the big G.
Funny.
I agree. Yeah, it was really funny. That was funny.
It was. Yeah.
Sadly, I did not love the pity thy neighbor meat of the sketch.
No, so Franken plays a host of the I forget if it's a telethon or maybe it's just a TV show.
It's like a call-in show where they were going to have all these people come in and you were supposed to call in to like give pity and give them something.
Right, and give them anything.
Yeah, anything.
And so Davis is dressed up as Augie Hartwell in just he's wearing a plastic bag with a rope tied around it and he's totally disheveled. And Dan is in this too. He's been in everything this week.
That's
by
true.
The way.
He's in a lot.
And they have no one calling in to pity poor Augie. And that's pretty much it, right? Like there's not, I guess there's some lines that Franken has, but nothing great.
No, I mean, even my love of Tom Davis couldn't pull this one through for me. I don't know. Dare I say it? It's almost like this was too subdued for these two. So much they're like over the top and loud. And it was a very like restrained Franken and Davis. And there weren't a lot of jokes.
No.
And it really, I mean, the joke really was that no one was calling in. And they hit that, 3 times maybe?
3 times, yeah.
And it's kind of like sometimes the Franken and Davis shows aren't necessarily like funny, but they're fun to watch, which again, I usually attribute to Tom Davis.
Right.
And that's why I was like, maybe he was just so toned down in this one. That's what I wasn't vibing on. Because this one just felt like it just kind of hung out there.
Right.
And it was just there and then it ended and you're like, okay.
Well, because he plays someone who you should have pity on. And the whole joke is that no one calls in to pity this guy.
Right.
But they don't frame it in a way that makes he is a sympathetic character.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would have played better to Tom's strengths and to the bit if he was kind of outlandish. Like, I don't know. I think that's what it was. It was too sad.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
I like Franken and Davis show, but I just feel like I haven't liked many this season.
This was an odd one. It definitely felt, even like I said, the vibe just felt very different from a Franken and Davis show.
Yeah.
Even though it was sponsored by the Communist Party.
Yes, it was. After that, we get our first sketch that Dan does not appear in. And it is a runner from last week, really. I mean, it's the antithesis to women's problems, which we saw last week. It's men's problems.
And I was genuinely excited for this sketch because the last one was so good. I was like, what are they going to do?
And it's all the ladies. Jane plays the host. Eve, Gilda Lorraine, and Margot Kidder are the panel. And this is where Margot Kidder plays female version of Gary Busey.
Full Busey sitting position. Man spread as wide as you could. There's a couple times I think she even tried to pull her leg up on the chair like Gary did.
Yes,
she is full on. And she is great. She is great in this sketch. Her performance is so good.
She really is. She was awesome. I thought I liked it because of that. That alone was like all I needed to really enjoy this sketch.
Okay.
Because I liked it more than last week's. I didn't really love women's
You liked this more
week.
than last week?
No. I liked Margot Kidder's performance.
Okay.
That elevated it for me as a sketch. But it is totally a retread of last week's sketch, just dealing with men's problems. Kind of.
Yeah.
I did enjoy Gilda kept talking to her husband.
Right. That's the one thing. So I did not like it as much as women's problems. Like you said, I think they tried to recreate it, but I think they fell a little bit short. And I think the reason I like women's problems better is that the guys were just so obnoxious. They were so over the top and so obnoxious that you had to laugh at them, where this one, the women, with the exception really of Margot Kidder, they played it a little more straight.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like she channeled her inner Busey and it was great. The other ones, they were almost too specific. Like you mentioned, Gilda's talking about her husband and to her husband. And so it made it almost like too personal, where the other one, the guys were just so broad and vague that it just was easier to buy the humor of it. So like as a comedic piece, I liked Women's Problems better of that construct, the way they did those things.
Yeah. I think if they all had personalities like that were outlandish, like Margot Kidder's, then it would have played better for sure.
Yeah, for me. Like they purposely dialed it the other direction. You know, the guys went crazy one direction, the girls went crazy in the more subdued direction. Yeah. But it's, you know, you got Ann and Rosie in the audience. They take questions from the audience again. What was it, Ann Beats? What's the question? She's like, what about lesbians? And Jane's like, nothing. Next question.
Yeah. Yes.
Something like that. Can we talk about lesbians? No, next question.
Yeah, something like that. She just dismissed it and moved on.
It was really good.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a bad sketch at all. I think I was wanting more because I liked Women's Problems so much. And I wanted this to be better than that sketch. So my expectations were too high.
Well, after that, we get our next performance from the Chieftans. They come on and play Morning Dew, which sounds like a great Irish song. And this is where I thought, oh, there's a lot of fog being blown in onto this set. Yeah, it's again similar. Like you have to. I enjoy these musicians as musicians. I'm not going to go out and buy a Chieftans record. I don't know.
Yeah. What was the guy in the vest playing? Was that a bagpipe? It looked like a bagpipe, but aren't you?
There was a bagpipe in there,
but aren't you supposed to blow into part of a bagpipe? Isn't that part of the instrument?
Well, you blow to fill the bagpipe full of air, and then you're squeezing the air out as you play it. So you don't have to continuously, because he didn't play the bagpipe. He only played it for a short piece.
That dude didn't play a lot of anything. Every time they cut to him, he was just hanging out, smiling. That's why I asked. He was just smiling, like pushing buttons. And I was like, is he playing an instrument? He's just hanging out.
Yeah. That's what I think he was doing, was like pushing the air out and playing. And it was kind of like a subtle...
So you don't blow while you play. You don't have to.
I think that makes it louder. Yeah, I think... And continuous, because that's the thing. Like you don't have to stop playing the bagpipes, because when you stop to breathe, there's already air in the bag that you're pushing out to make the noise.
I see. I hope all these dudes got laid that night.
Sure.
I'm pulling for the Chieftans.
You don't think there are Chieftans groupies waiting outside of Rockefeller Center?
Actually, I bet you they have a wild set of groupies.
I bet they do.
Like hardcore Irish gals that are all about the Chieftans.
I'm picturing like Edie McClurg type women with curly hair.
Pulling pencils out of their hair as they're waiting in line. What is this? He's a righteous dude. Okay.
Speaking of righteous dudes, Mr. Bill comes on this time.
Wow, what a setup.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you.
This time, Mr. Hands wants to go bowling, but he can't find Mr. Bill. He sees a note that he'll be back, and we find that Mr. Bill is hiding in the closet from Mr. Hand because he's starting to think that Mr. Hand does not have his best interests in mind. That's it. I thought it was fun. Yeah, it's a fun turn for Mr. Bill.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, and he's hiding in the closet and everything you say with Spot. And then Mr. Hand comes back and he went bowling by himself, so he drops the bowling ball. He's almost going to put the bowling ball back in the closet. You don't even see it, do you? You just hear it, right? He drops the bowling ball and you just hear, oh, and that was funny.
Yes.
And it really was the only funny part of the short, but that was the point.
Yep.
You know, I got to give it credit. Again, we were talking about, recurring things. We keep seeing the same things over and over again. I like that he changed it up, that Walter changed it up a little bit this time. It's a different story. It's not the same beats, paint by numbers thing, not doing the same routine. And Walter talked about this. It kind of plays into the longer Mr. Bill story that he creates this season, which continues into the next one. I think we only see him 2 more times this season. So he's kind of nearing the end of this Mr. Bill tale. So it was a fun way to kind of start making that turn towards the end.
We don't know that it's the start of something new yet.
No.
But I enjoyed that it was different from the same beats. So
exactly.
That was good. And that's it. That's our show. We come back to good nights.
She's got no pants on.
I was wondering that. It's a very long hockey jersey. Doesn't look like any pants.
Well played, Margot Kidder. Well played.
Montreal Canadiens. And that's it. That's our show. I thought this was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Garrett's back out as Slick again.
I did see that.
Garrett is on point tonight.
That was a lot of fun. Everyone embraced the St. Patrick's Day of it all, and I think it worked.
There's some really great classic bits in this, like you said. As you watch it, you're like, highlight reel, highlight reel, highlight reel.
Yeah.
And even at this point, we talked about in the beginning, like Margot Kidder had this sort of out there-ish persona a little bit. You can kind of feel it a little bit, but they lean into it well, and she plays it really great. And I think she did a good job. Like you said at the top, everything she's featured in, she does a great job at. I just didn't like the musical guest. And again, I know why they were on, and it makes sense, but I maybe just give them one number, especially because the comedy's working so well tonight.
Right.
This would have been a great instance of like, okay, give the musical guest just one number, put them on, highlight them, but you're really clicking on the comedy sketches and get another one.
Well, you don't know that when you book the musical guest either.
Yeah, I guess not. But I don't know if you tie them into two at the start of the week or as you go through, because you never know like where that decision comes from. 2 songs, 1 song, 3 songs,
right?
4 songs if you're a certain child star from the 50s. But the comedy seemed to be working. They had a bunch of sketches that didn't make it. There's, I think there was a school sketch where a bunch of the parents go back for like a parents' night, and Margot Kidder plays the teacher. There was another sketch called Glamour they had with Margot and the ladies and Garrett and Bill that went to rehearsal and didn't make it through. And there's another sketch, I believe, that we will see later on down the line. I mean, maybe who knows? The sketches didn't get in, weren't that good, but
right.
We should give a shout out and a thanks to a friend of ours, listener, Jason Morris, who hooked us up with some of the stuff from the Tom Davis archives. It's really fascinating. So thanks, Jason, for the files. And so we're able to go back and like look at what was in and what was rehearsed and some of the sketches that were written for this episode. It's really cool. So there was a lot of comedy to be had this night. But again, it's a great show. It's a really fun episode.
It really is. You know, I feel like the weakest thing was the Franken Davis show, but I really liked that beginning. If they had put Franken with the Frankenberry thing in Weekend Update, that would have been perfect.
Oh, that would have been funny as its own little thing.
Yeah,
that would have been really
good.
Yeah, that didn't do much. The St. Mickey's thing was a bit long and just a retread, but again, Margot's performance was great, and Garrett pulled it out at the end, so that was helpful. And the Navy thing was just so short; it was forgotten after it was off. So it's like, you're not going to think about it when you think about the episode.
Right. Well, Brad, what are your best bits?
Couple easy ones: Fred Garvin, Lois Lane, St. Patty's Day party, and I'm going to go point counterpoint.
You're not going to do your favorite Father Guido Sarducci ever?
It's my favorite. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Why, are you going to put it in? I just felt like I was putting it in because it was my favorite, but.
Well, I feel like I have to now.
Okay, great.
Because you picked everything else that I was going to pick.
We can have the same.
But yeah, I mean, I think those 4 things are solid. I mean, like we said, you see them forever. So they stand up.
And the best thing is that Fred Garvin and Lois Lane sketch are great as full sketches, not just clips. There's a lot of times we see the clips and you're like, that's the highlight and there's not a lot around it. Those are both great sketches start to finish.
Absolutely. Well, that's it. That's our show. That was a great show. So much fun.
That's what I'm saying. They're starting to come around a little bit, I feel like, this
For
season.
that last quarter of the season, really pulling it out.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't like Ricky Nelson, but a lot of people do like that episode. Kate Jackson was decent. Busey was fun. This one's great. We got another good one coming up before Milton Berle shows up. So it's like they got a good little chunk here at the end of season 4 that they're trying to make a run on.
Yeah. Next week on the early years of SNL, we're talking about season 4, episode 16 with host Richard Benjamin and musical guest Ricky Lee Jones. But before then, this week we have an episode of My SNL Story with Kevin Kelton.
Yeah. Writer from the show during the Dick Ebersol years. It was fun to talk to Kevin.
Yeah.
Working with Eddie Murphy, Martin Short. Those guys, really fun.
It's a really fun conversation. Can't wait for you all to listen to it. Until then, good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.
And have a pleasant tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to the Not Ready for Primetime Project. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, please take a moment to rate and review the project wherever you find us. And lastly, you can find us on social media everywhere at NR4PT Project. Thanks again for listening. Have a pleasant tomorrow.
You can't get art like that. I mean, you have to either rent it or buy it outright. Hey, halt! Oh, come on. You got a lot of people standing out here in line. Come on. All right. Take it easy. Whoa! Come on. It's
a guy in there.
Take it easy. Come on.
smell like roses. Come on.
Light 'em, Lois.